countries and account for about 60% of the volume. So actually they're quite a dominating force in the decision-making process, and normally they're quite specific on things that they want, otherwise they don't get the kind of the approach has been normally receptive to what we want to do and therefore supportive. And there's quite a bit of history over the years around Poland sort of doing their own thing and not being quite transparent, a bit of a concern over their jobs, so they don't necessarily want us to do a great job for them. So that's quite important to put it in context. The particular person that I deal with, he's the same work level as me. He runs the buying team out there, so he's got no direct buying responsibility, but what I think is important for me is to get his buy-in to what we want to do, because once we get sign-off, it can then take 6 to 9 months to actually launch the products. So there's quite a bit of risk even in that through the process. So that's a bit of context around it. I think this person is a red person, and that's how I've approached my or how I'm going to run the sort of scenario. So
what do you see in his behaviour? So red can mean a lot of things.
Yeah, so he's quite task focused around, like, he just wants to get it done, whether that's aligned with what we want to do. It's probably something, but he's quite like, right, we've got to turn the business around. The business is underperforming in Poland, so this is what we're going to do. I guess what is important for me is to make sure that that's aligned with what we're doing, and actually we can both be joined up, and that we find the common ground. There'll probably still be things I need from him, his commitment, but it's about actually making sure we both share the same vision around what we're trying to achieve. I think that's quite important. But yeah, he's quite. I think they know they've got quite a lot of power in the relationship, and so they could go and develop the products locally with their domestic suppliers probably quicker than we could, but the other countries can't. So there's a vested interest from the other countries for them to deliver. So it's a bit about vision, building rapport, getting commitment and reciprocation around sharing talking about some successes that have happened in other categories, and how we can, actually how we could elevate his position if we get his support. So well, the other bit is in terms of communication methods. I've only met him twice, face to face, had some conversations over the phone, but other than that, very little dialogue, because I wouldn't deal with him on a day-to-day basis.
Hello, James.
Hi Martin, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, excellent, thank you, excellent. How's trade at the moment? Is your category doing?
It could be doing a lot better, but hopefully we have things in place and we can change that.
Okay, what's the Polish economy like at the moment in Tesco? Are we doing well as a business?
We are underperforming. It's a worry, but as I said, we want to just try and turn the whole thing around and get back on track, which I'm sure we will.
Okay, great. Well, look, I only want to take up 5 minutes of your time today, if that's okay. My objective really is to agree the step changes that we've been discussing around the product range that we want to launch. I'm really confident that if we can get a real successful product launch, actually it's going to help turn the fish category around for you.
Well, I have my objections with that.
Okay, well, look, hopefully we can go through those today and at least agree how we can best take you forward, so that the work I'm doing on making sure is aligned to your objectives are going to help you deliver some of your category objectives that you need to.
Yeah, that's great, but I must tell you that I've been speaking to some local suppliers, and I feel that might be the way forward. It's just going to be a lot cheaper for us.
Okay, well, look, I appreciate cost is certainly one of your key.
It's got to be everything.
No, and I appreciate that, and it's the same with the other countries, so I'm completely committed to delivering you a range, but I also want you to consider the quality and actually the overall customer benefit that the range can offer. But
well, yes, I know that's important, obviously, but the most important thing here in Poland you have to understand is our margins. We have to think about costs above everything else, especially at the moment, which I'm sure you appreciate.
I appreciate that. I've got experience buying the categories, so I'm fully aware. Do you know, or can you tell me what your category margin is that you're working to, just so I'm clear with the teams and what it is we need to deliver for you?
Yes, I believe I sent that in an email to you previously, so I think you have all that information.
And that's still the same as it?
It's unchanged. Okay. Yeah, it's unchanged at this time.
That's fine. Okay, well look, just to reset the vision then, what we want to achieve is 20 new products across the fish range. it's really important that we get Poland's buying and your buying, and obviously in terms of that range and delivering that. But this range of 20 products will go across all of the CE countries. It's part of the step change project work that we're doing this year. There's a lot of focus on it from around the business, so it's be a great opportunity for both of us to help deliver that for the business and really deliver some great success in terms of the range that we want to offer.
I mean, I think, I understand it's going to be good for Tesco throughout the business, and the other countries will definitely benefit from this. But if we can source, out of those 20 products, we can source a lot of those a lot more cheaper locally. So I don't really see how we can meet halfway on this.
Yeah, but I think by bringing it all together and making sure we've got the common alignment, actually we can get bigger volumes to help you get lower prices, because a lot of the suppliers that we'll want to use will no doubt be the Polish suppliers anyway. So I think it's important actually if we can build those volumes together, get an agreement across all of the countries, then what we'll be able to do is to potentially deliver you lower costs as a result. But
all across?
Across all countries. So
but surely if not all of the products are locally sourced, then we can get lower prices locally, then that's going to cancel out the few Polish suppliers that we find.
So within the overall parcel of products, on canned fish that we're talking about specifically today, there'll be a lot of those products that we potentially will take from your existing suppliers, negotiate a bigger volume because we will, in theory, get the other countries on board and hopefully unlock some savings for you.
So you're going to drop the prices already anyway?
But what we need to do, so what I want to get agreement on today is, look, what can the vision look like? Get some clear understanding of your targets, which you've spoken again about your margin, and we want to make sure that as part of the vision and what we want to deliver for the business, that's going to help you deliver your KPIs as well.
Yes, definitely. But I just really want to know, James, what are we looking at? Are we going to make a saving by going your way, by going with the Tesco the way across all the 4 countries? Are we going to make a saving as Poland individually?
I can't tell you that here and now today, but product by product level. But my commitment is I'll help you deliver your targets with the range that we're going to move forward with.
Okay. And so how does that help Poland specifically? I just get the feeling that we're helping out the other countries more than we're helping out ourselves.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your concerns. Yeah. And I know there's been other projects. If you look at the oils project that's launched recently, I know that's been a real success even within Poland.
It has, yes.
So you had your own range already. What we've been able to do is by really understanding what everybody's objectives are and what the right range is, we've then, I think, grown the sale by 30% on the category.
And that was great. And that was great. But I need to know. I need to have some evidence that we're going to produce the same results here, and that we're not just benefiting the whole company, but I need to focus on Poland. Do you understand?
Yeah, I appreciate it. So within the context of what we're trying to deliver, what can you commit to?
Today, right now?
Well, in terms of your commitment, look, we'd like to launch 20 products across all the countries. Are you willing to work with us to scope out what that range could look like and to make sure we've got your builds so that we're all working in the same direction?
I would like to check product by product which ones are going to make the greater saving, and if as you say, some of the products that we source in Poland are going to give us even more of a discount price-wise because of the bulk that we're buying in. That may then cover the other products that you want us to go with, that I wouldn't necessarily be pleased to go with. Do you understand?
Yep, I appreciate that.
If the shortfalls,
So I guess,
covered. I can understand.
What I need to understand is, can we look at it as a parcel of business? So rather than focusing on product by product line, actually, if we look at the whole package of business, there may be some product lines that you can buy cheaper, but there may be some product lines that actually we're buying cheaper within the group products.
As long as everything's cheaper, James, I don't mind.
Okay.
But I don't want to get Poland to take a hit for the other countries, essentially.
No, that's not what we're going to ask you to do. We've got to make sure that it's aligned with your KPIs and what you're trying to deliver. Can I, agree to you and commit to you today that every product's going to be cheaper? No, I can't. But what I do need the commitment on is that we can work together on a common range of lines that you've been fully involved in the process with myself and the team, and your buyers have been, so that actually we're not duplicating work that you're going to be doing yourselves, and then we get to it and actually you're saying we've got a range of lines that we've developed.
No, that seems to make sense to do, yeah.
Okay, so I've got your commitment that you'll work together with us on the products that we want to look to develop. We're going to look at the costs and make sure that you will not be disadvantaged in any way by doing that. Are there any other requirements that you would have from the product development that we want to do?
We have slight variation in specification on some of these products, as I'm sure you understand. So that would need to be looked at. But I'm presuming that has been looked at.
Yes. So we're going to look at every product. We'll agree a common benchmark. so that we're clear. But I think ultimately we want to deliver a better quality product for you. So that's also part of the project around making sure that we're delivering fantastic products that are going to drive the overall sales and hopefully help turn around the performance of your category like we've seen in the oils category.
Well, that's all we can ask for, that's what we want. But I'm certainly willing to sit down and go through product by product and see if there's anything that I have a sort of issue with.
Okay, and obviously the key for me is once we get agreement on the lines, there's going to be a 6 to 9 month development process time where we're working on those lines and agreeing the packaging and everything, the labels with the suppliers until we actually launch them. What I think is important to do is that we have the open and honesty around the lines we're going to take forward, because I will need your commitment once we place those orders with the suppliers that we're then going to follow through in terms of delivery those and launch them in the store.
So you mean that once I've agreed to this, I can't then change my mind and go elsewhere, supplier-wise?
Yeah, I need your commitment that any issues that you've got, you raise them throughout the kind of the process that we're going to work with, so that once we've got an agreement on the lines we're going to take forward, I need you then to help me ensure that they're listed within the country.
So if I have a problem, we can talk to you, we can talk through and resolve any problems that may affect Poland individually?
Yes, of course, yeah. Okay. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem, thank you.
Brilliant. So, how did that feel?
Didn't quite go to plan.
Okay, go on.
It felt like, obviously, because quite a dominating character, I'm into the detail quite a lot, so I knew where some of the concerns were coming from, and actually they're real concerns. As much as I didn't want to give the commitment that we're going to manage expectations, so I think you were looking for the assurance that you weren't going to be disadvantaged. I couldn't necessarily give that product by product. I think that's some of the danger we fell into in the trap before, that you just say yes to everything and suddenly you realise, oh my God, we're never going to deliver, and then Poland have got the excuse that, well, you haven't delivered what I asked for, and therefore we're not going to support you. But it did feel like I was trying to lead the conversation, but you were running away. You were quite fixed on the things that you consider quite like the real situation, really. So I felt like, for me, coming away with having the clarity on that at least you'll engage with us, and the open and honesty, I think, was quite important. And then that commitment piece. So they were the kind of three things, and it was more around the building a relationship piece. The time we had, appreciating some of your channels and trying to understand or at least demonstrate the rapport piece and the reciprocation around, well, actually this is what we've done in other categories and therefore it's worked well here. So I don't know what everybody else's thoughts were.
I thought you did really well not to just say, yeah, we can. You kept coming back to the point of clarity, saying, no, it's basically a bigger picture, and we work with you, and you definitely kept delivering the point of it's a partnership, and where you were empathising, and what you were asking for was really clear.
I thought you kept refocusing on the task at hand really well to kind of ground and anchor the conversation and build on what you just said. The other piece I thought you did really well was I think you recognised the implications for the other countries, but you realised through the conversation that this stakeholder didn't give a damn about that, and so you focused all the benefits that you could deliver on what it would help Poland. I thought that was a pretty smart bit about adaptation.
Yeah, you used questions really well to turn it back on. Either to give yourself a bit more time, or if you were in a tricky situation, to sort of see what more you could do, but not in a kind of servile, apologetic way. You're quite like, this is the way, this is the partnership. And obviously, in your body language, always went with that. I think you got to the points quite quickly to sort of demonstrate the benefits, I guess, especially with the kind of red character.
You did really well to recap as well. So the fairly dogmatic character, it can be quite easy to kind of go, yep, agree. But it's just sense check, you're understanding again, you've committed to this, which is your key issue before you go in, and you kept going back to it, which is good.
And I thought it was interesting that you started off with the vision top line piece, you dragged him straight into the detail almost immediately, and your body language changed. You leaned forward, and then you leaned forward. It became, rather than almost a can you help me conversation, quite an emotive connection. It became very factual based. It was accepted facts, whether if you could have pulled away from that and tried to move her away from being factual or in real life person, would it make a difference, or would they never let you get away from that?
I was consciously trying not to be too much in the detail, actually, because I think about the way I probably approach it at the moment, and I try to do something a little bit different, because I think I would get dragged down the detail and almost analyse too much, whereas what I was trying to be conscious of doing was focusing on the vision, look what we could deliver. Actually, yes, I know you could do it locally, but then focusing more on the benefits. But it did feel a bit confrontational at stages, which is kind of how it is. Because it's not always going to be benefits on every single objective that they're trying to deliver, but in the context of underperforming in the market, actually, there could be some really big wins if we could.
It's a good use of expertise on both your previous experience of having done it. You scattered it with a bit of like 20% or whatever, but then you didn't kind of dwell on it too much. But I appreciate that, because I've done that before. Yeah, but it wasn't sort of. It was quite a sort of humble and also authoritative point. It wasn't sort of, if you can have those two, but it wasn't sort of. I get it, because this is my job kind of thing. So.
I also picked up on the point about your body language when you leaned forward, and I actually wonder how that came across to, I don't know the name of the person you've been talking to. Martin. How did that feel for you in terms of
I wouldn't say that it felt forceful.
No.
If anything, it was a little bit pleading. And I felt you could have sat back a bit more, actually. I felt that I very much had the upper hand throughout that. And I think you could have wowed me more with a little bit of the benefits for Poland, specifically. And I know that's not the whole thing, but that's what I'm interested in. I don't want to see the grand, big vision for the company. I'm not interested in that. How will it benefit me? How will it benefit Poland? So a little bit more of that. But I felt really listened to, and I think that's probably quite important for a red. And I felt that you kept it really concise, and you were really clear. And there was no waffle, which was great. But just a little bit more focus to what I want, a bit more vision on the benefits that will directly affect me and directly affect Poland. And I think I could have done with a little bit of flattery, actually. Some things, a bit more of a connection. I don't know whether that's a bit more like a rapport or...
I think that building rapport piece that I know that you were aiming to work at, vision I saw very, very clearly coming through, reciprocation as well. You did really great way of using, talking about the other successful ranges and then referring to, like we've seen in the oils department. So that was really good. So to be like, look, here it is, this is what it could be. I just think that building rapport, it did get, I think somebody here pointed out, got quite factual quite early on. And with you leaning forward, all of a sudden it felt slightly transactional and just a little bit more. The warmth seemed to go, although, very, very careful listening, and you could see that paying attention to every single word. Just if softening your body language might have just brought a little bit more warmth in.
Yeah, for me, we can like a negotiation with a supplier, do you know what I mean, rather than influencing a colleague.
I think, great eye contact. So it is just a tweak that little bit. Also, to begin with, your hands were on your lap below the table, and they actually kind of went under the table. And I could see you using your hands, but actually Martin wouldn't have been able to see that. And it just, I think once you actually brought your hands above the table, they're great because they really add to what you were saying and emphasis. So definitely just be aware of that. Just to reset the vision, there was lots of bringing back around, which the others have mentioned. There was one point where Martin challenged you, and you went, yeah, but I think, and then you went into your, I think this, and it was a bit of a rebuffal. That's how it kind of came across on the outside. Just be careful, because you could have had an opportunity then to go, that's a really good point, and what I'd like to add around that. Whereas it felt like it was batted back a little bit. Really honest. Your honesty came through. So we're saying, can I commit? No, I can't. So that was really strong and real authenticity. Really great assertive style, clear summarising. Yeah, really, really good.